Hi there and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's dive into today's top stories. Arsenal are ready to sell their remarkable player in January. Mikel Arteta's Arsenal are ready to sell Eddie Nketiah in the January transfer window. That's according to Football Transfers, which has noted Crystal Palace's stance on Nketiah. So what has been reported about Arsenal, Crystal Palace and Edin Kaya? Let's take a look. Well, according to Football Transfers, Crystal Palace are interested in signing Edin Kaya from London and the Premier League rivals Arsenal in the January transfer window. Palace have made an offer for Nketiah, but Arsenal have turned it down. However, the Eagles remain interested in the striker and could make a new bid. Football Transfers has noted that Arsenal are open to selling Nketiah for the right price, and if manager Mikel Arteta can bring in a new number 9 in the January transfer window, Benjamin Sesko, Dusan Vlahovic and Marcos Leonardo are the strikers that Arsenal are looking at as a potential replacement for Nketiah. Gunners legend Ian Wright has suggested Napoli star Victor Osimhen for the North London club. In my view, Arsenal striker Edin Kaya has a big decision to make regarding his future in the January transfer window. Nketiah has been on the books of Arsenal since 2015 and has come through the youth system. The 24-year-old is part of the Arsenal first team squad now and is rated highly by manager Mikel Arteta, who has described him as a remarkable player with an incredible mentality. However, Gabriel Jesus is the main striker at Arsenal at the moment. Nketiah, who has been linked with West Ham United as well, is a backup. That Arsenal are looking for a new striker and have been linked with Ivan Toney and Dominic Solanke shows that Arteta does not think that Nketiah is good enough to lead the line. Crystal Palace want Nketiah, which indicates that they really like him. Big offer would tempt Arsenal to let star seal a transfer away this January. Arsenal goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale could reportedly leave for a big offer in this January's transfer window. The England international has had to make do with dropping to the bench for most of the season, with summer signing David Raya, now the club's clear number one after joining from Brentford in the summer. Some may feel this is harsh on Ramsdale, with Raya not entirely convincing since replacing him in Mikel Arteta's starting lineup, but it doesn't look like something that's going to change anytime soon. So it's not too surprising to see the Telegraph reporting that a big offer could tempt Arsenal to sell Ramsdale this January, though it's not yet clear if there is any particularly concrete interest from anyone. Ramsdale is surely good enough to start for a number of Premier League clubs, but it's not often we see number one keepers signed during January, so this one might end up having to wait until the summer. Over the course of a long campaign, the Gunners might also fancy having Ramsdale around as a backup option in case Raya gets injured or suspended at any point, as they'd really suffer a drop in quality if they had to look to any of the other keepers on their books. Richard Keys gives harsh Declan Rice verdict after seeing him for Arsenal versus Fulham. Arsenal lost to Fulham, and Richard Keys has claimed that Declan Rice needs to be doing more in the midfield right now. Rice had one of his quieter games against the Cottagers and was left to look on as the home side beat his Arsenal side. It was the second time in a week the Gunners have been beaten after losing to West Ham at the Emirates. So far this season, Rice has won plenty of plaudits and acclaim. After signing for £100 million in the summer, he has proved a good buy in the main. However, speaking on beIN Sports, Richard Keys has said Rice needs to be doing more. Getting into a heated debate with Andy Gray, Keys was suggesting Rice should do more, even that means ignoring the tactical advice from his manager. And while Gray staunchly defended the England man for following orders, Keys believes Rice needs to show more responsibility and take the bull by the horns. He said, "I'm not saying he needs to be vocal. I'm saying he needs to put what he used to do at West Ham. I've seen nothing of at Arsenal. Get involved, start making passes that hurt people, have a shot at goal, because Arsenal don't shoot at the goal. Don't just go and stand between the centre backs. Why doesn't he go out on the pitch and say, I've got more to give than just this? Rice has been playing as the central pillar in this Arsenal team, and so far it has gone well. However, the last couple of games have shown a bit of worry for the Gunners, with teams now sitting on Rice or simply allowing him to have the ball while they set off. Of course, the England man knows what he is doing and has been influential so far, but this is an interesting topic of debate between Keys and Gray, and it would be nice to know just what Rice is being told to do. ESPN Pounded says £50 million Arsenal player is having a really poor season after Fulham loss. Michalik has criticized Ben White after Arsenal were beaten at Fulham on Sunday, noting that he has not been good for the Gunners this season. Ben White was one of those who had a really tough afternoon. It was remarkable how well White took to the right back role last season. However, the 26-year-old is looking much more like a centre back playing out of position in this campaign. He was caught out on a number of occasions, and Mikel Arteta decided to take him off midway through the second half as Arsenal pursued an equaliser. Speaking on ESPN, Michalik suggested that White's performance did not come as a huge surprise given his form over the course of the season. He said, "They are predictable, they don't keep the width, they are going inside, which every team says, thank you very much, come inside, because your fullbacks aren't doing anything." Ben White, off-season for sure, hasn't been good, replaced early again. Jakub Kiwior, I fear for him, because he hasn't played in his position yet. White's form is one of a number of issues Mikel Arteta needs to address in the near future. The £50 million star scored 2 goals and contributed 5 assists in the Premier League last season. This term, however, he has scored 1 goal and contributed 1 assist, and it's a similar story across the pitch. Declan Rice has been an outstanding signing, but it's hard to think of anyone who has been better this season than they were last year. White is definitely one of those who has seen his form drop off quite significantly. Talks were held about 24-year-old having his loan from Arsenal terminated. There have been discussions over whether Albert Sambi Lokonga would see his loan move to Luton Town terminated before the Arsenal midfielder forced his way back into the team. Albert Sambi Lokonga was given the green light to move to Kenilworth Road in the summer. It came off the back of a mixed loan spell at Crystal Palace during the second half of last season. Arsenal fans would be forgiven for wondering whether it would prove to be make or break for the Belgian, given that he is yet to prove himself at the Emirates, and the early signs seemed ominous. After featuring against Wolves in September, Lokonga would not play again until December. He was injured for much of that period. However, it seems that there were doubts over whether he would see out the season at Luton. According to a report from The Telegraph, there had been discussions over whether Lokonga's loan would be terminated in January. However, with Lokonga playing at least 80 minutes of the Hatters' last 3 games, it appears that the midfielder is looking much more likely to stay. It's a boost for both Rob Edwards' side and Lokonga himself. Lokonga was excellent in their vital win over Sheffield United on Boxing Day, and whatever happens from here, it will be remembered as a special season for Luton. Of course, it's going to be difficult for the midfielder to prove a point to Arsenal. The two sides are battling at different ends of the table, but if he continues to impress, who knows what could happen? All it may take upon his return is for a teammate to suffer an injury at the right time, and Mikel Arteta may decide to give Lokonga another chance in the Arsenal side. And if the Gunners have written him off, his time at Luton may help put Lokonga in the shop window ahead of the summer. He only turned 24 in October, so he has plenty of time to create a brilliant career for himself. Kieran Gibbs says Arsenal should sign £15 million player in a swap deal now. All of a sudden, Arsenal look like they need to be busy in January. The Gunners have now lost three of their last five league games, and their entire season is at risk of going off the rails. There are some clear gaps in this team, and speaking on ESPN, Kieran Gibbs has claimed that the Gunners need to shore up their midfield. The former fullback pointed to Rhodes Douglas Luiz as a potential signing, claiming that while Arsenal may not have the money to do such a deal, a swap deal could perhaps twist Aston Villa's arm on this one. Gibbs shared his verdict on the £15 million man. He said, "It's probably the best idea to go and get someone like Douglas Luiz. They haven't got the money, yeah, but you can swap players, There are deals to be done there for sure. There is Emil Smith-Rowe, there is Eddie, there is deals to be done there in this window. If I was to do anything, I'd probably shore up the midfield and hope that in the second half of the season, Saka, Martinelli and Odegaard came alive." As much as Luiz would be a fantastic signing for Arsenal, we can't see this one getting over the line. In theory, swap deals are a great way to get around cash flow problems, but when you are negotiating three contracts at once and trying to work out your internal valuations on your own books alongside amortization, these deals become difficult. Yes, Emil Smith-Rowe and Edin Kaya are ripe for these sorts of moves, but at the same time, as academy graduates, Arsenal would perhaps want to sell them for cash rather than part exchange, as anything they receive for the sale would be able to put through the books as pure profit due to their status as academy graduates. This is an interesting idea, but we can't see it being a viable option. Mika Richards says £43 million striker would be absolutely perfect for Arsenal. Arsenal need a new striker. The Gunners have an incredibly strong spine and some fantastic creative players, but putting the ball into the back of the net is proving to be a consistent problem for Mikel Arteta's side. Arsenal want to win the league, but after scoring just 5 goals in their last 5 league games, the North London club's hopes of winning the title are falling away. The North London club need a new forward, but one player they may not be able to sign this month is Victor Osimhen. The Nigerian had been linked to Arsenal, but he's just signed a new contract with Napoli, much to the bemusement of Mika Richards. Speaking on the rest is football, Richards has been discussing Osimhen's new deal with the Italian champions, and he says that he is shocked by the striker's decision, claiming that he looked destined for the Premier League, stating that he looks perfect for a team like Arsenal. Richards shared his verdict on the £43 million striker. He said, "The problem is now the prices for the number 9s now. Someone like Osimhen, he might cost you £150 million, and teams don't want to spend that on one player. I was surprised that he signed a new contract. He has all the tools to play in the Premier League. He is fast, he is strong, he can hold it up, and he can finish. I thought he would have been perfect for someone like Arsenal, but it wasn't meant to be." Richard is right. Osimhen would have been perfect for Arsenal, but sadly, they won't be able to get him now. A new deal rules out a January move for the striker, and that's a real shame, not only for Arsenal, but for the Premier League. Of course, we always want to see the best players in the world come and play in England, but sadly, it looks like Osimhen won't be heading to these shores anytime soon. Perhaps this is one that could be revisited in a couple of years' time, but for now, Arsenal will have to look elsewhere. Sky Sport Pounded shares what he's now heard about Arsenal signing Ivan Toney. Arsenal's need for a striker is more evident than ever. The Gunners have hit a rough patch of form as the January transfer window opened, and many now want the North London club to spring into action in the market. Of course, There has been no shortage of links as of late, and one player who has been constantly mentioned in this conversation is Ivan Toney. The Brentford striker is said to be a top target for Arsenal, but according to Alan Smith, speaking on Sky Sports, this deal may not be easy to do. Smith, of course, knows a lot of people within Arsenal, and he says that he's been told that the club actually need to sell players for financial fair play reasons. Smith shared what he knows about the striker. He said, Ivan Toney is the name everyone is mentioning. What I heard in the summer that they need to sell players to balance the books for financial fair play. I don't think they will have the cash to sign someone like Tony. They may have 20, 30 million pounds to sign someone with that potential. Arsenal, understandably, aren't flush with cash right now after spending over £200 million in the summer, but they need to find the money to sign a striker of Tony's caliber this month somehow. Arsenal have a number of sellable assets in their squad right now, with the likes of Emil Smith-Rowe, Fabio Vieira and Aaron Ramsdale all acting as fringe players right now, and if two or three of those players are sold, the Gunners could have the cash needed to make a big signing like this. Arsenal's title challenge is quickly coming undone, but the right signing in January could get them back on track. Arsenal need to find the money to sign a player like Tony this month. As we wrap up today's Arsenal news, remember to stay tuned for daily updates right here on the channel. Don't miss out on the latest updates, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like if you found this information valuable. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.